Out the way, GMOs. So imagine that you're going to a grocery store and you're buying a tomato, for example. Are you thinking about the price of your vegetable? Or are you thinking more about how what the color or the way that the tomato is going to look? Are you thinking about the color? Or are you thinking more about the amount of fertilizers that are going into your tomato in order for it to be the right color that you want it to be? So what is a GMO, you might be wondering? It's a genetically modified organism that are made up of three things. Genes are a matter of DNA that is used for cells to grow or function. Modification meaning a change, so what we want the tomato to do is to be a good color for us. So we might want a red tomato because we think that it's going to come out sweeter. But really, we're just adding more GMOs in order to make it the way that we want it. So, and then organisms are not only plants, they're affecting humans and animals are also genetically modified. So as I was researching, I was finding that I couldn't really find an exact number for the amount of organisms that are going through the GMO process. And I thought to myself, maybe that's because we have brought so many industries into this genetically engineering thing that we can't keep count of the amount of things that we genetically modify. So throughout this presentation, I will give my 3 reasons on why GMOs should be banned, a quote from an FE to the farmer's market that I thought was interesting to add in, and some of my thoughts along the way. And then after this, you can use this information and put it to use so that more people can be informed and so that we don't have GMOs. So we think more about GMOs as more of what the people want. We hear people saying we like more white meat than dark meat. The people have opinions, but do they care about how their food is being made by sharing their opinion? So we should be thinking about health risks. Genetic modification can lead to cancer or E. coli and allergic reactions. So according to care2.com, allergic reactions typically are brought on by proteins. Allergic reactions have went from being something that was inherited to something that's caused by GMOs. So in 2008, Chile's fertilizer consumption was at its highest peak. We can see right here in 2008 with the blue line. Then we saw a correlation in the rise of the undernourishment in Chile's population. Therefore, we can see that even if we want fertilizer to strengthen our fruits and vegetables, they are making us weaker. 3 minutes. Are we thinking about our planet? So there's environmental issues that can lead to this. One being we need a diversity in our crops, because if we don't have a diversity in our crops, the crops are more immune to bacteria and disease. And also, by having this disease and bacteria in our crops, we're actually killing animals that might be eating, like, for example, corn. Birds may eat corn and they're dying. And then harm for human rights. So the farmer suicide crisis, which began in the US, has now turned into a global issue. According to TheGuardian.com, an Australian farmer dies by suicide every 4 days. In the UK, one farmer a week takes his or her own life. In France, one farmer dies by suicide every 2 days. And in India, more than 270,000 farmers have died by suicide in 1995. So this happened to actually a close friend of ours that died from the E. coli outbreak. He went to Mariano's and he purchased burger meat and he was puking. They took him to the hospital and he passed 2 days later. This is why we need to stop GMOs. E. coli went from being an issue with our beef to now being found in our crops like romaine lettuce. According to the CDC.gov, in 1999, it was estimated that about 73,000 people in the U.S. got sick from E. coli each year. About 60 people died. This was under the control of the government and the way that we live. GMOs are something that we have created, and now we have people dying. We could be next. So we went to the farmer's market, and I was able to talk to a farmer about his GMOs, but he was actually a grass-fed beef farmer. So although he was pro, he had something to say about this. Although I am pro, I sell grass-fed beef, and I am anti for our product because not all beef is designed to GMOs. They are assigned to eat grass on land. So we do not need chemicals. We don't need to change the grass, but things with our bananas, you know the whole banana story. We are going to sell out of bananas in probably the next 10 years. So his name was Will, and he was a farmer. And what he meant by the banana story is the fungal disease that is found in bananas. Did you know that bananas could wipe out in 5 to 10 years? So by having GMOs, he would want our bananas to become more immune to these diseases. But I believe that by adding fertilizers, it is going to make our bananas stronger and more immune to, or not immune, like less immune to these diseases. But we need to think about the consumers, which is us, and by us consuming fertilizer, herbicides, pesticides, we're being affected in the long run. It's not just the bananas that are going to be wiping out, but we are as well. So wrap up, the use of the GMOs are completely unnecessary. The next time you go to the grocery store, think more about the harm of human rights, the health risks that can be immune, that you can be immune to by eating food with GMOs, and think about our environment. The effects that GMOs can have on our planet is crazy to think about. We are slowly making them a reality. Thank you.